Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fifth episode of The Story Foundry, where we craft your narrative. In the last episode, we cracked the code behind Simon Sinek's Golden Circle. We've learned why every compelling brand story starts with belief, not product. But here's the thing, once your audience believes what you believe, how do you move them from belief to buying? That's where a different kind of framework steps in. One that isn't just emotional but strategic. And it's called the storytelling funnel. Tofu, which is top of the funnel, Mofu, middle of the funnel, and Bofu, bottom of the funnel. Let's unpack it and I'll show you how some of the world's smartest brands use it daily to convert stories into loyal customers. The Golden Circle helps you build your foundation, but the storytelling funnel helps you guide the journey from strangers to superfans. Imagine storytelling as a funnel with three layers. Tofu, top of the funnel, which includes awareness. Mofu, which is middle of the funnel, it includes the trust. Then followed by Bofu, which is bottom of the funnel, it includes action. Let's break it down with some real, irresistible brand stories. Tofu, which is top of the funnel, and this is where awareness is happening for your brand. At this stage, people don't know your offer or maybe even their own problem. Your goal: speak emotion, invite curiosity, and create conversation. Let's share one example of Airbnb. When Airbnb launched, they didn't pitch cheap rooms. They never said that. In fact, they shared host and guest stories. Like a woman in Paris who opened her home to a traveler who reminded her of her late husband. No offers, no hard selling, just emotion. The takeaway? Before anyone buys into your service, they buy into how you make them feel. There's another story, in fact, an anecdote for the brand Dove. Dove's Real Beauty sketches campaign didn't even mention soap. It showed how women describe themselves versus how strangers see them, and the difference in perception. Result: 50 million views and millions of people who now associate Dove with self-acceptance. Now comes Mofu, which is middle of the funnel, and here is most of the consideration happening. At this stage, your audience is interested but unsure. Your goal is to build trust, showcase your value, and offer clarity. One of the famous anecdotes for this example is for Slack. Slack didn't just say, "We help you chat better." They showed how their own team used Slack to cut meetings, track bugs, and even improve team morale. These behind the scenes Mofu stories made people think, if they are thriving using it, maybe we will too. One of the famous anecdotes is there for HubSpot. HubSpot didn't sell software right away. In fact, they educated the market with free blogs, guides, and certifications. So when a business was ready for a CRM, HubSpot had already earned their trust. Mofu content proves this. Teach features before you sell and serve before you pitch. Finally comes bottom of the funnel, which is Bofu, and here is where decision making is happening. Now, your audience is ready, but they're a little scared. They want proof. They want transformation. They want a story that ends in success. And what is your job? It is to reassure, inspire, convert. One of the famous example here stands for Nike. When Nike ran their Believe in Something ad, it wasn't for the masses. Rather, it was for believers. They told bold, purpose-driven stories of athletes who choose values over fame. Result? Well, despite all that backlash, sales jumped by 31% in the following week because Nike didn't sell shoes, they sold courage. Another example is of Canva. Canva, instead of just talking about templates, Canva shares creator success stories like for instance, I landed a $3,000 client after designing a pitch deck on Canva. And Bofu, bottom of the funnel stories, shows people like me getting results what I want. That's the most powerful form of conversation and conversion. Why this works? Let's understand. Because here, brain is meeting emotion. Tofu, Mofu, Bofu funnel works because it respects the journey of trust. It mirrors how our minds work. We feel first tofu, that is top of the funnel. We think deeper, that is middle of the funnel. And finally, we act with confidence, which is bottom of the funnel. And as a storyteller, you don't just narrate information, you guide people across those thresholds. That's not marketing, that's empathy in motion. Start with belief, as rightly said by Simon Sinek and proved in the Golden Circle framework. Then guide with story, funnel, which includes tofu, and it includes more relatable, humanized content or saying. Then comes Mofu, it's teach me, show me, build trust. And lastly, Bofu, prove it, transform me, and move me to act. Well, want to map your next 30 days of content across Tofu, Mofu, and Bofu like this? Just send me a DM on LinkedIn and I'll review your profile and get this designed for you. And of course, do share your valuable comments, feedback. You can also send me an email at regalina, regalina07 @gmail.com, or in fact, send me a DM at my LinkedIn profile. Because when you tell the right story to the right person at the right time, they don't just get leads, they create your loyalist.